Welcome! It's Facts You Don't Know. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more, and first make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything.
A woman woke up from a dark, bruises-covered night out, was shocked to be diagnosed with an aggressive form of leukemia. Thea Wilson from Borwerton, Shropshire, woke up in October of last year from a night out covered in vast purple and yellow bruises all over her body. The 37-year-old had stayed sober throughout the evening, so she knew she hadn't fallen over and no one on the dance floor had hit her particularly hard. Since the marks hadn't subsided a couple of days later, she went to her GP, who originally misdiagnosed her with a platelet deficiency that can cause large bruises. But fortunately, the doctor sent her to the hospital for a biopsy of the bone marrow, and she had a rare form of leukemia when the test came back. Miss Wilson was dealt the devastating blow. Doctors said it was a medical emergency because she suffered from acute promyelitic leukemia, APML, a very rare type of blood cancer that only affects 100 people a year. She was rushed to a hospital isolation room for intensive chemotherapy because her blood wasn't properly coagulating, leaving her in danger of internal bleeding. Miraculously, she's been told she's in remission after 6 months of therapy and now wants to raise funds for the hospital that rescued her. Miss Wilson, who works in medical sales, said she'd been feeling for months under the weather but had no idea that she was ill. But she was shocked to wake up covered in giant, nasty-looking bruises from a night out. "I had no idea where these bruises had come from," she said. "They were big and purple and all up my arms and legs. I'd been getting little ones for a few weeks, but nothing like that." She went to the doctor, who said her platelets, small pieces of blood cells that help wounds heal and prevent bleeding by forming blood clots, must be a problem. Nevertheless, the doctor also referred her to hospital for a biopsy of the bone marrow. Miss Wilson was told that the injuries were nothing to think about, and on the 4th of December, she also did a 10-kilometer race. But she felt exhausted, wondering why she wasn't as energized as before. She was called to hospital the same day to collect her biopsy tests, which she thought was merely a courtesy. Yet a doctor sat down, reminding her that she had a rare type of leukemia and that she needed urgent treatment. She said, "When they told me I had leukemia, my world fell apart. I went to the doctors, but because I didn't tick any of their other boxes for leukemia, such as exhaustion, when they sat me down and told me I was seriously ill, I didn't know what to do. All of a sudden, they told me I had aggressive leukemia. I was a medical emergency and my hair was going to fall out. All I could do was turn to my mom and say, 'I'm sorry.' The test revealed she had a platelet count of just 9, when healthy people's is normally between 140 and 400. Within 24 hours, she was taken to an isolation room in the Royal Shrewsbury Hospital and started on a 5-month routine of intensive chemotherapy and all trans-retinoic acid, ATRA, a form of vitamin A. In addition, she was given usually fresh frozen plasma, fibrinogen, and platelets to improve her blood's capability to clot. I was so lucky," she said. "If I'd fallen running or been kicked by my horse, I could have died. I had no idea that getting me through the first month was a challenge in itself. I was allowed to be out for Boxing Day, but I was so used to my isolation bubble it felt dangerous. I just wanted to go back into hospital." Less than 6 months after her diagnosis, Miss Wilson was given the news she had entered into remission, and she was overjoyed. To celebrate, she entered the race for life to raise money for the hematology department at Royal Shrewsbury that saved her life. Now she'll need to have a test known as a bone marrow aspiration every 12 weeks for the next 3 years to check the health of her blood. "The leukemia could relapse, but that won't stop me from living my life," she said. "The blood unit saved my life, so I wanted to give something back by raising money for them." Miss Wilson's Macmillan nurse, hematology clinic nurse Bridget Atkins, said, "Thea has remained incredibly focused and positive throughout the whole of her treatment, never allowing it to get the better of her. Her attitude has been one that's inspired many of the nurses who have had the privilege of delivering her care. She's a classic example of someone with great spirit, who rises up in the face of adversity and turns a negative into a positive." Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.